All right, we're going to break away from the end of Governor Beshear's news conference to get you updated on coronavirus news across eastern Kentucky. Headlines from Governor Beshear's news conference include, he says, steps to social distance are helping us flatten the curve. The governor also announced today 134 new cases of COVID-19. More than 1,400 Kentuckians have become sick from the virus, but the governor says more than 300 have recovered, with many more nearing recovery. The governor also called on Kentuckians to light their houses green again after 6 new deaths were reported today. At least 79 people in Kentucky have died from the coronavirus. Today we learned of Knott County's first case. It is a 39-year-old woman who works at a local business in Hindman. Now customers are being told to watch for symptoms. WYMT's Connor James has more.
Yeah, now thankfully public health officials say that woman is in decent health right now. Her conditions aren't too bad and she's at home isolating. The announcement came at roughly 3 o'clock at City Hall in downtown Hindman. The woman who tested positive was a worker at the Appalachian Wireless store here in Hindman. Public health officials are urging that if you went to that store between March 24th and April 3rd, that you should be monitoring for symptoms. Now, they do say all this is low risk because people who went in there didn't have prolonged exposure to this woman. And public health officials say this is why you need to be practicing good hygiene and proper social distancing habits.
There is no recommendation for someone with just casual contact to do self-isolation at this point. What those individuals would really need to do is just monitor themselves for symptoms. And then if someone does develop symptoms, that's the point in time when they would need to start thinking about self-isolation at that point.
Now, the Appalachian Wireless store here in Hindman did say in a release to us that they plan on closing down the store and cleaning it thoroughly per CDC guidelines. I'm in Knott County. Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Connor, thank you. During that news conference, which you saw live here on WYMT, Lockhart announced that 2 of the 6 patients in the Kentucky River District, that includes several counties, who have COVID-19 have recovered, 2 of the 6. Now we have the full statement from Appalachian Wireless about their employee testing positive there in Hindman. You can find that on WYMT.com. Today we learned the 3 initial cases from Jackson County were actually residents of Jackson Manor, and that is a nursing home in Annville. All of those people are being cared for in isolation, and there is late word there are now a total of 7 cases in Jackson County. Some new ones reported today. After announcing 2 new cases of COVID-19 in Pike County this morning, moving the total to 3, Judge Executive Ray Jones says he has concerns. He says some churches may be planning to host Easter egg hunts at the Fish Trap Park Sunday. Jones said a previous executive order should have made it clear that public gatherings are not allowed, so he is ordering the park area closed entirely, on top of some other precautions.
I will make sure that there's somebody up there this Sunday policing to make sure that doesn't happen. We can't afford this.
Parks are not the only concern. A few businesses are also being looked into by the county who appear to be continuing their non-essential work from home. We'll have more on that coming up at 11. And moments ago we learned coming up shortly at 6:30, Floyd County officials will be holding a news conference at the Mountain Arts Center. We don't know what is going to be said there. We do hope to carry that on Facebook Live if we can. We do have a reporter trying to make it there on time. We'll of course let you know what comes out of that as soon as we know, and have more at 11 as well, but we hope to carry that if we can on Facebook. Now let's take a look at our COVID-19 tracker. We are slowly inching towards cases in all of Kentucky's 120 counties now, and Governor Beshear says we should expect that. Rowan County has now been added after officials there announced the first case. We also learned of a 6th case today in Laurel County, and there is now 10 cases in Rockcastle County. Now, the governor also announced Cumberland Falls is being closed, obviously a very popular tourist destination down there near the McCreary-Whitley line. He says that is just to limit crowds, and Natural Bridge State Park is also being closed. Again, Cumberland Falls and Natural Bridge both being closed. Today, Pulaski County officials reported 2 new cases of the coronavirus, bringing their total to 30. Almost half have recovered, while 2 are in the hospital and 1 person died. WYMT's Will Puckett has more from community members and officials as they work to slow the spread.
Pulaski County Judge Executive Steve Kelly is working to help educate the public.
Yesterday I did a Facebook Live, and I've asked our parents to please keep your teens from going out in the evening, because, you know, while they may be healthy enough to catch this virus and recover, they may bring it back to those of us who are not so healthy and may not recover.
Kelly says 15 of their 30 cases came from a single church service, while the other half are community spread.
We've got that pretty well contained now, and it should be far enough along where we won't see any more outbreaks related to the church.
For many who live in Pulaski County, they knew it was only a matter of time until they saw cases here.
To be honest with you, it's a little bit lower than what I thought it would be, especially with more tests going out. I do think that we're not finished with the increase in cases. I'd say to expect at least a couple dozen more.
Alex Wilson and his brother own a company in Pulaski County, and with their dealings with the public out and about, they're seeing mixed reactions to the news.
But I think everybody's just kind of in a mode of this is the new normal.
A new normal that is changing even the way they plan to celebrate Easter.
I'll say it's going to be a first for me, not being able to attend church, not being able to even sit down with my family and enjoy a traditional Sunday meal. So it is going to be different.
But for Kelly, he believes that the sacrifices now will only help them come out stronger on the other side.
Spread the good cheer, because we do have hope here. When this passes, we're going to be strong when we come out of this.
In Pulaski County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Kelly says the nice weather hopefully will help people with their mental health, giving them a bit of a break outside. Meanwhile, social gathering forced Harlan County school officials to block athletic facilities and school grounds. They warned people found violating the closings will be charged with trespassing. Officials also urged parents to talk to children about the importance of social distancing. They also say violating this could result in KHSAA sanctions. Due to the pandemic, an unprecedented number of Americans have found themselves jobless. The staggering figures have left state unemployment officials overwhelmed with claims. In 3 weeks, nearly 17 million Americans have lost their jobs. A report out today suggests Kentucky ranks 5th in the nation in recent unemployment claims. In the wake of that report, 2 of the state's larger healthcare systems announced furloughs and restructuring until this ends. Victor Puente tells us more about the action taken by UK Healthcare and Baptist Health.
As hospitals across the country started making plans about how they would respond to the coronavirus, one common step was temporarily halting elective procedures.
Realization that we really needed to preserve our hospital bed capacity, our equipment, our personal protective supplies, and honestly our ventilators for potential surge of patients with the coronavirus.
But that halt in procedures meant some areas aren't being used as much. Today, both UK Healthcare and Baptist Health announced changes to their workforce, including reassigning some workers and furloughing others.
We have furloughed some employees who work in units where our volumes have significantly declined because of the reduction in our elective care.
Executives at Baptist are also taking pay cuts. Toadvine said he wants to make it clear certain parts of the hospital, like the ER, maternity, and cancer care, are still fully operational.
The last thing we want is for someone to avoid care out of fear of coming to the hospital or a perception that we're not providing care.
Both organizations say the changes are temporary. They hope to have everyone back in place when things return to normal.
As soon as we see that peak and it tapering off, we'll know that we can begin to reopen for business as usual, and hopefully our entire economy across the state and across the nation will do the same.
In Lexington, Victor Puente, WYMT Mountain News.
Baptist Health says furloughed workers will remain eligible for their medical benefits. UK will pay health benefit premiums for up to 90 days or until the employee returns to work.
And those cooler temperatures return today, and they're going to stick around for a little bit. That sunshine also sticks around before we see that soggy weather return by your Easter Sunday. I'll have those details coming up in a little bit.